So good morning and welcome to Wellness at Last. All morning long, here's Lisa. All morning long, I've been thinking or singing that song. I think it's from Annie, the movie that says, "Together at last, together forever." I don't know if y'all know that song off of Annie, but I've been singing it all morning and I've been thinking about, well, if I'm going to have one of these little internet things, then I probably should have some kind of theme song. So I don't have it yet, but it's a work in progress as I've been singing that song from Annie. So Together at Last, it's September 26th. Welcome to fall ish. In the South, we just have an extension of summer about this time. We're starting to maybe feel a little bit of coolness in the air. But weather aside, the theme of September is falls prevention. And so I feel like I would do y'all an injustice if I didn't address falls. Falls is one of the reasons we get funding from the Administration on Aging. And that's how I get to do the Tai Chi program. That's how I get to do the Matter of Balance program and the AMP program, which is the Aging Masteries program. It's all through funding that's intended to support falls prevention. You might have to turn your volume up in Candler County. I'm not sure who's in control. Johnson and Tatnall, do y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm right here at my computer and I'm talking loud. So try the volume on y'all's end and maybe that will help. Okay, so back to falls. Probably if I had you raise your hand in the in your senior center about who has falling, if you follow the statistics, if there are 20 people in your room, 7 people would raise your hand that you have falling in this past year. A fifth of those people, when they fall, it is a very serious injury. So, I go to meetings and people talk statistics and I just kind of halfway listen because it's hard to think of it as meaningful when you just start spatting out numbers. But the truth of the matter is that falls are the leading cause of fatal and non-fatal injuries for people that are over 65 and older. And those include hip fractures, other broken bones, head injuries. So even if it's not a major injury, what happens is if you fall, it starts creating a fear for you. So you have a fear of falling and you may limit your activities because of your fear of falling. So that's the reality of falls. The great news is that we can do something about it. Of course, exercise is an immediate answer for me because exercise can help increase your muscle strength. It can help increase your endurance, your flexibility, and also help with your balance, which of course, if you have better balance, you're less likely to fall. But it's not just about exercise. We need to take into consideration the medicines that you're taking. We need to also think about your vision and then your home environment. So the AMP program has it's really a true or false survey that they do during the class. And we're going to go through those. It's kind of a myth, fact or a myth questionnaire, true or false. So the first question that is asked is, falling is something normal that happens as we get older. Is that true or false? false. It's not a normal part of aging, right? Next question. If I limit my activity, I won't fall. True or false? False. Now, I got kind of tickled at that, thinking, well, if I sit here for the rest of my life in this chair and never leave this chair, limiting my activity, then I won't fall. Well, I guess it's kind of true, but is that really what I'm going to do? Am I going to sit here for the rest of my life? No, I'm going to get up and do things. But limiting your activity, what actually happens is your muscles atrophy, or they get weaker. And then when you do go to do activities, then your muscles are weak and you're actually more likely to fall. Next question. Taking medication can increase my risk of falls. Hold on a second. I got to figure out how to mute a person. Maybe it's muted now. Told you I'm always learning. I'm always trying to figure out how to do this. I know when I can see the person on screen, then I know how to mute you. But then whenever you take your video off, I don't know how to do that anymore. So unless y'all have a question, it's probably best if you keep your speaker or your microphone muted, so it's not disturbing to the other people. I know that's part of having lots of people join. So taking medication can increase my risk of falls. It can, because there are side effects that cause you to be dizzy, they cause you to be drowsy, and those things can increase your chance of falling. And so that's something that we want to take into consideration, is if it's a medicine. And it doesn't even have to be a medicine that you take every single day. I experienced yesterday taking some allergy medicine, and it made me feel really wonky in the head. So I just sat down for a little bit because I just felt like this. My head was just spinning. So of course, if my head feels like it's spinning from taking that medicine, then I'm not going to have very good balance. I'm not going to have a good experience getting around. Another question. As long as I stay at home, I can avoid falling. Well, that's false. Now, the funny thing about that question is people feel most comfortable at home. It's not funny, but people feel most comfortable at home. And so when you get home, you tend to throw your walking stick to the side, throw your or put your walker to the side. You tend to put those things away for when you leave the house. And because people do that, because they feel more comfortable in their homes, then it actually increases their chance of falling. So more falls happen in the home because we kind of let our guard down. So keep that in mind. Next question, or true or false statement. Muscle strength and flexibility can be regained. True. Why do people go to physical therapy after a surgery, after an injury? Why would they go there if it wasn't going to help? It's going to help. We learned when we were at a conference a couple of weeks ago about how, when we're younger, we're more active, and especially if you make an effort to build muscle, that you still have that muscle there. It may atrophy or shrink from lack of use, but by using that muscle again, it will become stronger. So there's good, that made me feel good to know that that hard work we've put in the past is still there ready to serve us. We just have to use it. Next statement, I need to get my vision checked every year. True. Now, if you're like me, you can't believe a year has passed and you go, wow, is it already time? It seems like I just got, new glasses. But go in and check. And also some eye doctors will take a picture of your eye, and that gives them a baseline to compare anything that's going on with your eye to see if there are some changes and see if they can get ahead of any problems. Obviously, if you have issues with your eyes, then you want to have corrective, I was trying to say protective, corrective lenses. Most people will choose to wear glasses. Some people like to use contacts, but if you have a vision problem, get your glasses so that you can see as you go out and about. Usually, if something's going on and it's time to get some new glasses. This particular program says to go every year, but there's the thing about going every year, there's a cost to it, right? Unless you have an insurance that covers eye care, then that may deter you from going to get your eyes checked. In my experience, I've checked around to different eye doctors to see what they charge, and eye doctors charge different from place to place. And so you may run into that and check to see what the cost is and what works best for you. And maybe you go every 18 months instead of every year. But just pay attention to your eyesight, and if you're having a harder time seeing, because obviously that would can cause falls. Our final statement is, using a walker or cane will make me more dependent. False. So walking aids are important so that it actually helps improve your mobility. Now, I do want to say this: if you do need a walker or a cane, and there's different levels of this, and I know whenever you go to get your first one, they start you off at the base model. You're not going to go in the first time and get a motorized wheelchair. They're going to step you up from that bottom level. And so make sure that it is properly fitted for you. So my son is 6 foot something, and I'm 5'2". So if he goes and gets crutches for a broken foot, and then I break my foot, can I use his crutches? No, I can't use his crutches. My whole feet would be off the air if I put those up under my armpits. So it's the same thing with walkers, canes, the different levels of sticks. Some of the canes have 4 prongs. You probably have them in your senior centers right now in the room that you're in. But you want somebody who's trained to make sure it's at that proper level for safety. If it's made for a taller person, then it can actually increase your chance of falling. So take that, and hopefully anybody who has those has gotten them fixed just for you. All right, so what can we do about it? I'm going to end with our exercise, but I'm going to go to home safety right now, thinking about things that we can do in our home. Remember, I told you that the #1 place where people fall is in their home, and it's really because we let our guard down. It's because we put our assisted devices to the side, and we feel most safe and comfortable in our house. We don't think anything can happen there, but most likely that is where you're going to fall. First, we want to talk about lighting. Can you see if you don't have light? No. So make sure that all the places in your home have either lighting plugged into the wall, and some of them have motion detectors. So when it detects motion from you, then they automatically come on. Some that you plug in the wall, like a night light, it is triggered when it's dark to come on. It's not necessarily on all the time. There are others that you can turn on and off. And then, of course, you have the switches in, they're usually beside your door when you enter a room. Older houses relied more on lamps than wired ceiling lights. And so depending on where you live, you may not have a light switch that turns on a light in the ceiling. Or if you, I think about this too, if you walk in a room, you turn on the light, you walk through the room, and you turn off the light at a whole different location. You know, that's something that's in newer homes where you have dual switches. You wouldn't want to have to cross the room in the dark to turn the light switch on. And so think about that, how your home is set up and how you access lighting. You know, if you have stairs in your home, of course you want your stairs to be lit, but do you have two switches? Do you have one on the top and on the bottom of the stairs? I did that backwards. On the bottom and the top of the stairs, to be able to access the light from what location you are. So definitely think about lighting. You know, if you wake up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, you're not going to want to light up your house, but do you have the night lights to be able to see as you go to the bathroom? That's important. What else is important? Clutter. Well, I think about that when I think the stairs, and y'all, I'm guilty of it too. Let me just put this on the stairs. I'll take it up later. Let me put this on the stairs. I'll take it up later. Put this on the stairs, and it'll collect stuff. Stuff collected is clutter, and that's what you can trip over. And I think about that mostly with stairs, but you can have clutter throughout your house. Also thinking about rugs for different reasons. There are some rugs that are a lot taller than the floor, significantly taller, and that's almost a step up. Well, if you have to step up to a rug, then that could be a trip hazard. Another thing is the little tassels on the ends of rugs. That can be a trip hazard. Some rugs don't have a non-slip backing on the back of the rug, and that can be cause the rug to slip out from under you. So for the most part, I don't recommend having any throw rugs in your house, but there may be some places you like to have them. Coming out of the shower or the bathtub, that's often a place where you get out and you need a rug because your feet are wet. And also at the sink whenever you're doing dishes, or maybe at the stove. I'm always amazed at when I can't think of words. The stove, that may be a place where you like to have a rug. So make sure that it does have a no-slip grip. The rugs that I have in front of my sink and my stove, they have a gradual angle from the flat floor to the highest part of that rug, so they're hitting that ledge to trip over, and then they have the no slip back on that. Same thing with bath mats, is the no slip grip. And if you make a habit of washing those rugs, especially the bath rugs, that no slip starts to wear down and it will it'll come apart. And so pay attention to that, the wear and tear of your rugs, so that when that wears out, you need to replace it. Those are things that you can do in your home to help prevent falls. I also think about rails on stairs, on outdoor stairs coming into your home, and also interior stairs, to have a place to hold on to. Grab rails, that's what they're called. There's no other name for it. Rails, to be able to hold on to rely on that for balance, to help you come upstairs and go downstairs. That makes me think about grab bars in the bathroom specifically. You know, the bathroom is a place that gets wet, and so anytime you have water, that increases your chance of being slippery. And so having something that you can hold on to as you get into a bathtub or a shower, even, well, I'll talk about the commode in a minute, but anything getting in that shower, in and out of the shower, that can help you be more stable. Some people have no slip grip in the bottom of their bathtub or shower. Some bathtubs and showers, it's already made into it, so it's textured on the floor of the bathtub or the shower, and that's to help increase the chances of falling. But if you have a slippery bathtub, if it's real smooth, it's more likely to be slippery. You can install, it's almost like tape. It comes in a roll, and you put that down, and that can help provide grips. Back in the day, I remember there being like flower shaped, and I think they still sell them, flower shaped slip grip that you put in the bottom of your shower or bathtub. And but that's one way to help keep you from being help it from being slippery. Also, be mindful of cleaning your bathtub regularly. If you don't clean, a film can come up that's kind of slimy. I don't know what it is, but it can create a slippery surface if you don't clean up. I think about the swimming pool. If we don't clean it for a little while, it might get, I guess it's algae. I don't know. Maybe it's algae in your bathtub or shower, some algae growing if you don't clean it. But that's just something to keep in mind. Now, years ago, I was teaching a class about falls prevention, and a lady thought, you know, I have a no slip rug, but I need to get a new one, because if I get a new one, then that will be great. That'll be better. Well, she got a no slip rug that had, it was like suction cups that went, it was to suction down in her bathtub. And so she went, she got it, she put it in her bathtub. And the first time she went to go climb into her bathtub, it wasn't suctioned down properly, and it slipped away from her, and she got hurt. So if you replace it, make sure that it's pushed down and it's secure before you test it out. Okay. All right. What else is on my notes? Okay, home safety. I'm talking about reachable items. So what do you use most of the time? Put it in a place that's reachable. I'll tell you what, my next house that I build will have 0 upper cabinets. It's going to have all lower cabinets. Because do you know how many things I can't reach? All of it. I can't reach anything in those upper cabinets. So I'm having to drag out a stool or a ladder. I'll tell y'all that I climb up on the cabinets, but that is not recommended for, that is definitely dangerous. It is not recommended to do, but I do it, and I know I shouldn't do it, but I'm determined to get what I need out of these cabinets. But what you use most often, put in a place that you can reach. Now, some people who are very active, they like to put things a little bit out of reach so that they can stretch up and reach their cabinet. That's fine, but how about you just save that type of movement for exercise class, and the items that you use most often, having a place where you don't have to reach or climb, or I mean even stoop down, because sometimes that can be a difficult movement for people that don't have leg strength. So do your best to have the most used items at a reachable place. And if you have to use a stool to climb to be able to get something, don't do what I do. Don't climb on the cabinet. Stools are what I like to use is it's a ladder that folds up flat, and it's made out of aluminum, so it's very light, and it opens up and it has 2 stairs. And not only does it have 2 stairs, but it has a long like handle, and so that can help give you something that if you need to lean onto as you're reaching, then you're safer than if you were to take a regular ladder that doesn't have that kind of safety bar. That safe, because it's aluminum, it's very lightweight, but that little safety bar can be used as a handle too. So whenever I carry it from my bedroom to the kitchen, I'll put it on my shoulder. But because it's lightweight too, it's not as easy to move around. Or because it folds flat, it's easily stored in a space where it doesn't get in your way. So you don't want to just grab any old stool or drag a chair in that may not be stable. You think about your dining room chair, pulling it into the kitchen, and it does have a back, but if you leaned into that back, then it's gonna fall with you. Just things to think about whenever you need to reach an item. Make sure you do have a secure stool. All right, now back to the bathroom. I said I'd talk about a commode. Well, I go a lot of places, and I go to some places whose commodes are so like short. And I'm not talking about the kindergarten class. I'm not talking about that short. They have the little tiny little toilets. But some places their toilets will be real low. And whenever you have to come down, that takes a lot of muscle strength to come down, but then also to come back up, that is even more difficult for people. So yes, they do sell higher commodes. They sell that, but is it realistic that you're going to get your commode completely replaced in your house? Probably not. I don't even know what all that involves. But what I do know is that they make a extension seat that you can put on your existing commode to make it where it's a little bit higher, and you don't have to squat down, and you don't have to work so hard to get back up, because it's set up higher. And that's something that you can purchase to put on your existing commode. And then to have grab bars near your commode so that they can help assist you to get up. If you rely on a walker, having your walker there can be a helpful assisted device too. So that covers what I had in my notes, talking about home safety with falls prevention. Thinking about all the things in our home that can create an unsafe environment, and sometimes we let our guards down when we're at home and we don't think about it. So I encourage you to think about your home, walk around your home, and see if you can spot any fall risks. If you live in an older home that doesn't have as many outlets, you may be more likely to have cords that cross the floor. If you have that, obviously, you know, that's a fall hazard. But if you have that, they actually sell, I think it's called gaffer's tape, maybe painter's tape would work, but it's a tape that you can tape a cord down to where it's flatter on the floor, and it obviously doesn't move, and it doesn't leave like sticky stuff on your flooring. So that's something to consider if you do have to have cords that cross the floor. If you can, if there's a way for you to use extension cords to have your cords go along the wall, that would be more ideal. But think about that. Also think about the flow in your home. When you're getting around in your house, are you always having to avoid a chair, or always having to avoid a plant, a couch? Is there a good flow in your house for you to go from room to room and place to place and whatever your needs are in your home? You may not be able to rearrange furniture, but maybe you know somebody that can help you once you identify things that are a fall hazard in your home. So that was something I thought about. I just sat and wrote down notes about falls prevention. This is something that I'm always thinking about, and it's probably because I'm Tai Chi girl, and in Tai Chi land, we're always thinking about spatial awareness and posture and weight transfer to help keep us being balanced. And so that's what we're going to go through now. Let me stand up and I'll continue talking you through it. I'm going to change my computer a little bit so you can see full body. But this always takes me a few tries. I'm sorry, y'all. So I just did something, and I didn't do it on purpose. I won't lie and tell y'all I did it on purpose. But I just did something that is not good for falls prevention, and that is walking backwards. Now, I have a camera that's in front of me, and so because of that camera, because I can see my video, I know whenever I step backwards that I see this chair. I don't see this chair because I have eyes in the back of my head. I see it because that camera right there tells me there's a chair behind me. So I never recommend you to walk backwards. Okay. So we're trying to go forwards in life. So we're going to walk forwards. One thing that we want to consider, and y'all can stand up with me if you want, or you can stay seated. So it's completely up to you. As we go out and about into the world, we want to think about body awareness, how we are holding our body in a way that keeps us from falling. So, posture. First thing, posture. Posture is like a string that pulls up towards the ceiling, and that same string pulls down towards the ground. So I have a nice straight back, and I feel the pressure of that string that's pulling up and down at the same time. Good posture. I see people who walk like this. Sometimes older people have certain health issues, and it causes them to walk like this. Well, if I'm walking like this, gravity is pulling me forward. That pulls me towards falling. So if you're physically able to pay attention to your posture, this is where we want our posture. We want our shoulders relaxed. So we don't want to hold tension in our shoulders. We want our shoulders nice and relaxed with that good posture. If you notice, my feet are about shoulder width apart. Maybe a little bit wider. Here's probably a true shoulder width apart. You might like it a little bit wider. That may feel more stable for you. What is not stable is if your feet are real close together. So you can try that and you can feel that that just doesn't feel so stable. Imagine a table. If all the legs of a table were right all together, would that table be very stable? No. We have to spread those legs out on the table so that it's secure and more stable. And so that's how we want to stand. That's how we want to move our bodies around, is in a stable stance. We also want to keep a little bit of a soft bend in our knee. So we don't want to lock our knees to where we're standing straight up. It's just a soft bend. I'm not squatted down. I just have a nice soft bend in my knees. That helps me recover from any kind of movement easier than if I have a locked knee. I'm more likely to fall if I have locked joints. Just like that. We want to work on the flexibility of our parts. And so what parts are those? Those are our joints. So first we want to think about our neck joint. In order to be spatially aware or being aware of our environment, whether we're driving or walking about, we want to be able to move that neck. We want to be able to see what's going on. And so we do that by looking towards that shoulder, only moving that head. So my body is facing forward as I look towards that shoulder. So going from side to side, and just go until you feel a little bit of stretch in that neck. And this works on the flexibility of your neck joint. So just go side to side. The more you work on the flexibility of your joint, the more flexible you will be, the more mobile your neck will be. So just that simple movement can help with that movable part, your neck. Another way to help with your neck is to put chin towards your chest. That does a little bit of stretch in the back of your neck. My favorite movement for my neck is to put my ear towards my shoulder and just let gravity lay that head over while you keep those shoulders nice and relaxed. Just let gravity stretch that neck, come back up and over to the other side. And you may have one side that's a little more stiff than the other. You may have one that's more able. But when you do this movement, do it to both sides. So hopefully you're feeling that nice stretch in your neck muscle. How about our shoulders? Let's do some movements for our shoulders. Just roll those shoulders forward. Nice little circles. And then roll those shoulders back. You probably feel all those muscles of course in your shoulder, but probably in your back as you roll those shoulders back. Roll forward. This is also a good way to help you reset your posture. So if you've ever been sitting around and your posture's just gotten horrible, right? It usually happens in your comfy chair. When you get up, roll the shoulders forward, but then roll those shoulders back. And you feel those shoulders come back and it resets that posture. So that's a way to reset your posture as well. Another movement for your shoulder is to do a circle. So we bring our hands up. Hold on, let me get there. We bring our hands up and then we push our hands down. Big circle movement for our shoulders. We're just warming up and moving our joints. And by moving those joints, we help them be more flexible and able. So sometimes we think, oh, well, I can't do that big extra fast exercise program, so I might as well just not do anything. But you need to be doing something. And I like to start from head to toe and do my neck, my shoulders, and then my spine. Let's stretch that spine. This is like a hello sunshine stretch where we're pushing up and down. You know, you get out of bed and you go, oh, good morning, hello sunshine. I tend to call a lot of my exercises my favorites, but this is definitely one of my favorites. That back, ooh, it sure does get stiff. We wake up and we just stretch that spine and get ready for the day. Just going from side to side, pushing one hand in the air, one hand down. Nice stretch of our spine. And now we just move our shoulder here. Side to side. We're just doing a little bit of a turn of our torso. We're not going as far as we can. We're just turning side to side, stretching those muscles horizontally, whereas we just stretched them and warmed them up vertically. All right, so that's our main joints in our upper body. Now, as we come to our lower body, I want to talk about weight transfer. Now, as we do weight transfer and we slowly transfer weight, we're really relying on our stabilizer muscles. Now, if you think about aerobic exercise, where you do something in a faster way, where you might step to the side, you know, it's kind of a shuffle like this. That works some muscle, but whenever you do a slower movement, then you're engaging more of a stabilizer muscle. It's more, to me, it's more difficult to slow down the movement than to do it faster. And this is what we do in Tai Chi, is we always talk about slow, smooth, and continuous, and that helps increase the strength of our stabilizer muscle. So slow down the movement, and let's do some Tai Chi walking. Okay, so we're going to walk forward. Remember, I said I don't recommend walking backwards. I'm going to move this chair. So I'm going to start at the back where this wall is, and I'm going to do what's called Tai Chi walking. And so when I Tai Chi walk, I start with that good stable stance where I have good posture, my shoulders are relaxed, and my weight is on both legs, but I'm going to shift the weight to one leg. I'm going to take a small step forward, heel toe, then I'm going to shift the weight to that leg. I'm going to take the other foot, step, heel, toe, shift the weight. So I put my foot out there, but no weight is being transferred yet. When I put that foot out there, I'm kind of testing the waters. Is there anything I'm stepping on? Is there a rock there? Is there a toy there? Is there something there? Nope, nothing's there. Then I can shift the weight. Step, heel, toe, shift the weight. So this is Tai Chi walking, a step and a shift, a step and a shift. When we normally walk, we just do controlled falling, really, because we throw that foot out there and we just start walking. We're just hoping for the best when we regular walk. Y'all excuse my backwards walking. It's hard to stay in a camera if you don't. But it's step, heel, toe, shift. 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 So this works on stabilizer muscles as we do Tai Chi walking. We can do it sideways. So this time I'm going to come over here by this wall. I have my weight on both legs. I shift to one leg, step to the side. Shift, and then bring that foot back to shoulder or hip width. Shift, step, shift, follow step, shift, step, shift, follow step, shift, step, shift, follow step, shift, step, shift, follow step. Now let's go that way. Shift, step, shift, follow step. So we're walking to the side.
Alamo.
And this
Just
hold on, y'all. Let me mute. There we go. We're shifting the weight, stepping, then shifting, step, shift, step, shift, follow step. So that's Tai Chi walking to the side. But let's just say you go, I don't want to take Tai Chi. I don't want to do Tai Chi. That's fine. You don't ever have to do Tai Chi. It's not for everybody. But the fact of the matter is that Tai Chi is proven to help with balance. So there's things about Tai Chi that you can do, but never do Tai Chi. And that is weight transference. If you are unstable or unsure of your balance, use a chair. Use a table. Just make sure when you're using an assistive object that they are stable. Sometimes the floor is very slippery. And so if I were to rely on this chair for balance and the floor is slippery, that chair can slip away from me, and actually that was a fall hazard. So before you rely on anything for balance, do a little check and make sure it's secure in where it is. I know when we did a program in one of the senior centers, that's what we found is their floor was very slippery with the chairs. So it made it a fall hazard. So keep that in mind as you choose to use something to help you exercise. When I use this chair, I like to talk about the height of a chair. I'm short, I'm 5'2", and this chair is a little too short for me to use for balance. I teach a class in Eastman. Their chairs are up here, and that's a little bit high for to rely on for balance. So even whenever I say use a chair to help you, you want to consider its height and its stability to be able to use it to properly help you. That's what I was talking about earlier when I talked about getting your assisted devices fit just for you. I need to find me a chair, and preferably it would be clear so you could see me through it. That was just the perfect height. This right here would just, where my hands are, that would be a perfect height for me to be able to have a chair to rely on for balance. So let's, with that being said, whether you're using something for balance or not, and I like to use my invisible chair sometimes, that way y'all can still see me. If you want help with balance, shifting your weight from one leg to the other. So we're not Tai Chi walking anymore to the side or frontwards or backwards, but we're just simply shifting our weight from one leg to the other. This motion right here helps strengthen your stabilizer muscles. Stabilizer muscles that are around your hip joints, your knee joints, and ankle joints. But guess what else? Joints we don't even think about muscles. Our feet. You know how important the muscles in our feet are in helping us with balance. You know, these big joints, our hip and our knee joints, those are the ones that are so often replaced. Sometimes they are the ones we think about, but we forget our ankles and our feet. Shifting the weight helps with the stabilizer muscles in all those joints. So I'm not even having to go anywhere. I'm not even picking up my feet. I'm just shifting my weight from one foot to the other. My posture remains upright. So even though I'm shifting weight to my right leg, I'm not leaning. Sorry, I got to do mirror image. Shifting my weight to my left leg, I'm not leaning to the left. I'm remaining in upright posture. Shift, shift and weight. Now, if I want to challenge myself, then I'm going to shift my weight to one leg, and this other leg that no longer has weight, I'm going to pick that foot up and I'm going to tap it out to the side. You see my posture stayed the same. I didn't lean. Then I'm going to bring that foot back, shift the weight, lift and tap. So see, this really shows our bravery as we lift that foot. You might not be ready to do that. You may just feel comfortable shifting the weight from leg to leg. And that's okay. Start where you are and go from there. Now let's say I'm not even speaking your language. You don't even feel comfortable standing up and shifting weight. What can you do besides hold the chair? You know, here's my invisible chair, relying on that chair for balance as I shift weight. That's an assisted device. That's to help keep me feeling more comfortable. Maybe I'm scared of falling. Maybe I do have very weak muscles. I have this assisted device to hold on to as I shift weight. Maybe you're not there. If you're not there, how about sit down? So you can sit down and still engage muscle. How? Well, right now, my feet are shoulder width apart. So even when I sit down, I keep my feet at shoulder width apart. That's a more stable stance, even in a seated position. I have good posture. So I'm not laid back in my chair just because I'm sitting down. I still remain having good posture. Another thing to consider with your chair is your height. Now, I have seated students who can sit all the way back in their chair and their feet are flat on the floor. This chair is pretty short, but there are some chairs that I sit in that I can't even touch the floor. If I can't touch the floor, that's not stable. I need my feet to touch the floor, feet flat, shoulder width apart. That's the most stable way to sit in a chair with my good posture. To engage the muscle, I'm going to push one foot into the floor. Whenever you do that, don't you feel muscles tighten up? Now release that foot from the floor and push the other foot into the floor. So this engages muscle as you shift. I still call it shifting weight. We're shifting weight into the floor to one foot, releasing it, and shifting that weight to that other foot, pushing that foot into the floor. That engages muscle. Another exercise you can do seated, especially to work on the flexibility of your hips, is here I'm sitting in this stable stance. I'm going to lean that knee out to the side. And when I lay that knee out to the side, I felt my hip stretching. That ligament there, that muscle there, stretched as I lay that knee to the side. Bring that knee back up and lay the other knee out, stretching the hip flexor. That's the hip flexor. When your joints and your muscles are stretched, then you'll be more flexible. When you're more flexible, you're more able. Well, sometimes we forget how tight we can be, especially people who sit a lot. They get really tight in their hips. As we get older, we're more and more sedentary. We sit a lot more. We get really tight in our hips. And that's a movement that we can do to help stretch those hip flexors. If you have really tight hip flexors, that can cause you to have back pain, especially lower back pain. So sometimes it can be as simple as stretching those muscles where it can help relieve some of that pain. Tension. Let me come to my camera. Tension is pain. And so if we're tense anywhere in our bodies, then we're more likely to have pain. If we have pain, what do? Tense up. I've done it. Oh, I hurt. Oh, I just lay in my bed. I might get in a fetal position and just, I'm just all tensed up because I'm hurting. You know what happens when you do that? You hurt more. So if you find that you're holding tension anywhere in your body, you can actually increase your chance of pain. So I just have so many things to tell y'all about taking care of your body through movement. Today's message, it was specifically about falls prevention though. And I want you to do that weight transference, shifting weight from one foot, shifting weight to the other, and see the difference it makes as you strengthen your muscles. You can even do what's called a staggered stance. So one foot is a little bit further up than the other. So here's a staggered stance. I'll show you from the side. A staggered stance, one foot a little bit further than the other. Now, that staggered stance is a very stable stance because you've widened your base. Think about a wrestler. You know, you ever seen a wrestler before they go into the ring? What do? Staggered stance. They squat down a little bit. That lowers their center of gravity. They're harder to knock down when they're in a staggered stance and their knees have that bend in it. That's no different for us. So you can be in that staggered stance, one foot further up than the other, and shift the weight to the front foot. You don't have to shift all the weight, but then shift the weight to that back foot. So we shifted the weight side to side, and that engages one part of our muscle. And now we're talking about a staggered stance, shifting our weight from forward to back. So incorporate that into your day, into your movements. Think about that in terms of exercise and weight transfer. Anybody have any questions? I know everybody's muted, but feel free to come off mute if you have any questions, or if you need help coming off mute, I can ask you to unmute. So I threw a lot at you today, and all in the name of falls prevention. Check out your house, see if you have good lighting, see if you have clutter that may be in your way. Is there anywhere that you may need assistive rails or grab bars or no slip things in your shower or bathtub? Check out your rugs, check out cords, do a little assessment of your home. If you do use assisted devices, are they fitted just for you? Because that's going to decrease your chance of falling if you use them. And then moving, exercise, that is a key. Having strong muscles, that is a key for falls prevention. Even if you have that clutter, even if you have a cord, even if you have a rug that has fringe on it, if your muscles are stronger, then you're more able to react to those things in your home and out and about in the world. But I don't want you to fall, okay? I don't want you to fall. I want you to be safe, and I want you to keep on doing things, okay? So remember, we'll do this the last Monday of every month. If there's anything that you need from me in the meantime, any questions that you think of later, have your senior center director email me, and I will do my best to answer it or find the answer for you. If there's any certain topic that you would like for me to cover, let me know that too. I'm here for y'all, okay? All right, so if you don't have anything, then I'll see you. If not before, I'll see you in a month. Love y'all. All right. Oh, one more thing. This is recorded, so it will be on my YouTube page if for whatever reason you need to watch it again or see it from the beginning. All right, see y'all then.
I'll say bye, Jennifer. Bye, Jennifer. Bye.